Hi, I'm Kaylee, and this is Brandon from Seattle Coffee Gear, and we are here today to talk about grinders.
First, let me just start off with saying, Kaylee, I am so excited to finally have another person on video with me.
I'm excited to be here.
Kaylee has literally been ignoring me for about 2 years now, so actually getting her on a video is...
This is the first time we've talked.
Yeah, we work right next door to each other.
Yeah, so should be interesting.
So let's talk grinders. What do we want to learn?
Let's
What do you want to know?
So what I'm curious about is, let's say I have like a small bakery, like a donut shop or a bagel shop, and I'm serving, what they serve, 20 to 50 drinks a day, I think.
Sure.
What kind of grinder would I want to pair with my machine, which is probably like a Rancilio Epica or an Appia, something like that.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So this is a common question we get in commercial all the time, right? I'm going to buy, doing 50 drinks a day. What do I need? Do I need a $3,000 grinder or a $200 grinder? And there's somewhat of easy answers to that. So ideally, you're looking at something like the Mazda Mini, which is about a 58 millimeter Burr set grinder. This grinder is perfect for doing that 20, 30, 50 drinks a day.
Okay.
That doesn't necessarily mean you can't use something like this one here.
Of course you can use the heavy duty grinder.
Exactly. So these are your 64, 65 millimeter Burr set grinders. In this class, you're looking at like the Zenith, the Nova Simonelli MDX, the Mazda Super Jolly. They're all 64, 65 millimeter Burr sets, the Rancilio Cryo. Those are great for that 120, 150, 200 drinks a day.
So that would be like a coffee shop, like a small to medium sized coffee shop, probably.
Yeah, someone using a 2-group machine.
Okay.
If we're in a 1-group though, if we're trying to save a little bit of money, not spend $1,000, $1,500 on a machine like this, you can come down to a machine like this. It can be perfect for you. The big difference in your sizes is how long it's going to take to get a shot. So
that's in the Burr size?
Yep, that's in the Burr size, right? If it's a smaller Burr set, 58 millimeters, it can only process so much. So here, it's going to take me probably 8 to 10 seconds to actually get a double shot of espresso. Here, it's going to take me 6 seconds.
So if you're really small volume, it's okay to go with a smaller Burr set because you're not quite under the same time crunch, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So now if we move into, like you were talking about, bigger coffee shop, right?
Yeah.
Rancilio Class 7, Nova Simonelli Appia, something along those lines.
Yeah.
We're looking at wanting to, your minimum has to be a 64 and 65 millimeters are basically the same grinders. So it has to be here. You cannot use this at a coffee shop that's doing 150 drinks a day. It just slows you down way too much.
Well, you could, but you'd have a line.
You'd have a really long line. If you are
you would look very popular.
If you're in, some place where it's okay to be a little bit slow, just you get your drink when you get your drink. I'm not naming states here. That'd be fine. But yeah, we got to get into the entry level on if you're using a 2-group machine is a 64 millimeter Burr set grinder.
Okay.
So something like this one here would probably do 200 drinks a day. You could even use it maybe a step up, right? Let's say we have a higher volume. Yeah. Machine, Aurelia, Class 9, something like that. You could use this, more so though if it's doing 200 drinks a day. So, so the 200 drinks a day, that's kind of this limit. That's really where you want to do it.
For this type of grinder, what is your limit? Like 50 to 100 tops? Or do you top it out at that point?
Daily really is a weird number. So normally we say 50 drinks a day, right?
Yes.
Well,
but it really comes down to like the seconds you're grinding and stuff.
Yeah. If you're a coffee shop or like you said, bakery?
Yeah.
They're open from 6 a.m. till noon, 6 a.m. till 1. You're going to be doing 50 drinks in that time frame, and that's really its limit. If I am maybe a bar or a restaurant that's open from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m., that 50 drinks is going to be spread out more.
Spread out.
Probably could do 75.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, I think so. So one thing I noticed that's different about these two grinders here that we have in particular is one is a doser and one is electronic. Correct. And so how does that play into the number of drinks you're making per day? Like which one do you want?
It doesn't so much play into the number of drinks. There's a couple reasons. There's convenience. Some people don't want to have to do this all day long. Go ahead, do it. It's fun. Yay!
I could do that all day.
Yeah, just all day long. Hurts the arms. Some people just want to be able to put it in here and have it just electronically dose out. Okay. There's other reasons. This one tends to be favored by people that are doing a little bit lower volume because on this one, I'm going to grind it and fill a chamber.
Yeah.
If I don't stop it exactly where it needs to, I got to throw away espresso.
Fair enough.
pure cost. Nobody wants to do it. These, though, especially the doser versions, these benefit if you are trying to be a shop that's maybe a little higher volume, but trying to use this grinder. So let's just, for example, I need to make 5 drinks in a row.
Yeah.
Normally, you'd want a 64 millimeter Burr set. This, I could let it just run.
You fill it up.
Yep, fill it up, and then I can just do 5 back to back. So on the slower grinders, ones that take 8-10 seconds, that's where a doser really comes into play.
Got it. So you can get electronic of this grinder as well.
This one does come electronic. It also comes in a doser. Just as all of your 64, 65 millimeter Burr sets are going to come in electronic or a doser version.
Okay.
Electronic.
So it really kind of comes down to preference. And if you're trying to do more volume with something like this, you might want the doser so you can move along your drink making.
Exactly.
All right. So what happens when we get into a larger coffee shop setting?
Larger.
What kind of grinder do we want for that?
Well, we got to move into something a little bit bigger than these.
All right, let's do it.
So then, Kaylee, we'd actually move into bigger grinders.
Like, I like big grinders and I cannot lie. Like that?
Yes, exactly like that. There's always a theme music when you turn this on, that you'll have that come through. It will be Kaylee's voice actually singing to you.
You can...
There is an upcharge for that feature.
I was just going to say you can pay extra if you'd like my personally recorded message. But... in all seriousness, so a larger coffee shop that's doing something like 300 plus drinks per day, very bustling coffee shop, they would need one of these very large grinders.
So we got to get in a bigger Burr set. So this is a Mazzer Major. It is, I believe, an 83 millimeter Burr set grinder. Ooh. It's much bigger burrs.
Yeah.
We have to do that for a couple of reasons. One, again, it's speed, right? I need to be able to get doses out faster if I'm doing 300 drinks a day. The other is just heat. The bigger it is, the less heat is going to be affected by it. So we just keep getting bigger and bigger, and that helps. So you're moving into something like this. This one here is actually a conical Burr set grinder as well. Okay. Because this 83 millimeters is about the top end of your flat Burr grinders. After that, we move into a conical grinder as we go up the chain. Okay, so is that really, so what's the difference between flat and conical? Why would you want one over the other? Is it just a size thing, or is it an actual difference? There's probably a couple reasons. So conical Burr sets tend to be faster. You can probably watch some of our videos where we have the differences of these, but a flat Burr grinder, easy way to describe it, is that it's going to actually take the bean and it's going to throw it. So it's going to crush it, cut it, and throw it. It works on centrifugal force. I like that imagery. Okay. Hey, that's good. It's going to just throw it out there. The conical Burr sets are different in the sense that they're big cones, and so it's a purely gravity fed. So as it goes down, I'm grinding on all sides at the same time, so I can actually dose out much quicker. When I go from this into, say, like a Mazzer Coney or even a Mazzer Rober, which is a very expensive grinder, the Mazzer Rober can dose out your 14 and 19 grams in like 3 seconds. It's just fast. Even here it's quick, but you're looking at 5 to 6 on something like this. But you get into this one here, this will dose it in about 5 seconds. Coney will do it in about 4.5. A Mazzer Rober is going to do it in like 3 seconds. It's just super fast, super consistent, because again, we're not having to crush and throw things anymore. Now we're actually cutting them on all sides. On all sides, exactly. So people move into the conical Burr sets for 2 reasons. Again, speed. The other is if we're a really high-end coffee shop. Yeah. You see a lot of these new third-wave coffee shops doing single-origin espressos. Those really need conical Burr sets. Flat Burrs are almost effectively out for you. Why is that? It's consistency. So it's just the consistency piece. These here, again, crushing, grinding, throwing, it's really hard to have every single microparticle consistent. Fair enough. This one's a little more controlled. The only real variable on these is your gravity. So this one, if I have beans up to here, is going to do a lot better job than if I were to do it here. They're going to start bouncing around. Fair enough. Yep. So basically your high volume shops, again, you can probably use one of the smaller ones we were just talking about, 64, 65. Yeah. At some point though, it's going to be too big, or it's going to be too small. We got to get into either a big flat Burr grinder or a conical grinder. What do you see? I'm just looking at how big the grinder is. I'm imagining the burrs, and in my head they're like huge. Yeah, they're like the size of your fist. So if you just, there you go. That would probably hurt though. I wouldn't recommend. I'm not gonna do that, but. Other than that, that is kind of your range of grinders. It doesn't really matter what brand it is. Again, we're talking 58 millimeter flats, 64, 65 flats, 83 on into your conical ones, which have a different numbering scheme. Yeah. But that's kind of your progression of. So it kind of runs the gamut just based on like how many drinks you're producing per day
and the consistency and speed with which you need to do so.
Yep. And to be honest with you, personal preference. I've seen people with a $3,000 grinder and a $3,000 espresso machine one group. Like, you don't need it, but they just want it. They
But
like
you know
it.
what they say, the grinder is the most important part of your setup.
Who is they? Is this
Me?
Kaylee? This is what Kaylee
I
says.
say this.
She's a they.
I'm kind of a representative sample of the population.
If you want to learn more about these, you can check out our cafe section under the grinders tab, and you'll see everything from your small to your big, and right at seattlecoffeegear.com.